Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is asking William Ruto a very straight question. Why are you running government as a personal entity? The Wiper party leader, flanked by a host of Azimio la Umoja members of parliament, held a press briefing a day after attending the Mashujaa Day celebration in Uhuru Gardens that was poorly attended. And today, Kalonzo Musyoka is asking that the president have made pertinent decisions, and some of these decisions are made without what they will call as their dream cabinet. Even though we understand that Kenya Kwanza team never embraced the need for continuity. And the truth of the matter is that a count of 100 days in office will be audited with William Ruto working with a host of members of cabinet that were from Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, because they're still in power until the new cabinet is sworn in. And there are some decisions that have been made. Of course, there was a public-private partnership model that was proposed to be by president, that he wants to use that to build 100 dams. I think is it within the next 4 years in the country, to boost, in a bid to boost food security. There have been the trending DCI squad that is being probed, and of course disbanding the special unit, then doing investigation into the death of the 2 Indian nationals that were abducted somewhere. I think that was in some months to the general election. And all these conversations have been going on with Kalonzo Musyoka demanding an answer. Why is the president running government alone? And why is he still making roadside declarations? Something that I opined is that I think it was time for the Kenya Kwanza government to slow down on giving more promises. Then they retreat back to their offices and work on already existing promises. But then this is the truth. The promises that they have given are enough. If they can just redeem whatever they have promised so far, is enough for Kenyans to give them a second term, if Kenyans decide so. So that's interestingly, that's how the things are. I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also like our video. A day to the end of our 50 shillings challenge towards the purchase of the camera. We are going to end that fundraiser on 22nd of this month. That is tomorrow, I think tomorrow on Saturday. And that fundraiser, I just reached out to you in a special way, that I was asking for a donation to buy 1 extra camera to help my production team in producing exclusive interviews. And the number is up there, 0710 62 78 89. William Ruto is working in a very challenging environment, and he is coming to power at a time when people are thirsty for tangible results. People want the results, and Kenyans want the results. The media is watching from all angles. The lenses are everywhere, and people are waiting to see the fall of William Ruto. I can tell you. And you can understand, working from that modus operandi, you will actually understand why, even though he still doesn't have his dream cabinet, he wants to make things be done and of course be seen as someone who is moving. But there is more to it. And I want to reveal to you why the president seems to have chased the other people around him and is now running that government as a one-man show. I want to tell you why. The president wants to assert his authority. the president wants to assert his authority. That is at the center of everything. Now, that is very important, because from the truth of the matter here is that William Ruto was coming at a place in government, a place where it's also divided. And of course, he's really struggling with legitimacy. Whether he's legitimate the president, you remember the way they turn out at the cases, or rather at the Uhuru Gardens was low. But this is more of intellectual aspects to it. President William Ruto is depending more and is over-depending on experts. There is over-dependence on experts. If you listen to the speech that he gave in Kirinyaga when speaking about the Anwai Guru, he actually said that they are going to teach Azimio la Umoja agricultural economics. There have been a lot of elite declarations, and it seems, if you ask me, that William Ruto may have formed another layer of advisors that are close to him, and what these advisors tell him, he does not really give them a blunt eye. This is probably the challenge with this move. The challenge with this move is the experts do not really serve political purpose. And number two, they are not in the limelight. When things go south, when government fails, no one will talk about the experts. No one will talk about the David Ndii, the economic team behind him. Actually, people will talk about the fall of William Ruto's government. That is it. So he seems to be over-depending on that team. And you know, even though I'm not saying it's bad to depend on experts, but of course, with you having also a cabinet that resonates with your agenda, you will make decisions and you'll come up with policies that, as much as they serve the economic purpose, but they also resonate with the population. And with the cabinet, you will find spokespersons to explain government agendas to the people. That is why you will see that some of the cabinet nominees have actually been going, some of the cabinet nominees have been going to the ground to try to explain government agenda, because Uhuru, members of the cabinet that were appointed by Uhuru that have not yet left office are not going, and they cannot go to explain William Ruto's agendas. This is something that is coming out loudly, that there seems to be an overdependence in experts. But let's look at some of the contentious issues. I want us to look at two. One is the GMO. The GMO is more of an international affair, because it was influenced by his relationship with Americans and all that. One of the reasons, and there are some decisions that if I ask you, and the port, there are some decisions that I wish I'm wrong, but I tend to think that the president might also be is also bowing to some international pressure. There are some that is not really locally, maybe pre-existing deals and arrangements that have been made before, that when you come to power, you're going to do this and you're going to do that and you're going to do that. So there are some that he does not really even need the cabinet, because whether the cabinet will going to approve or not approve, at the end of the day, they'll have to come to pass. So this to me, apart from the fact that is also local politics playing, William Ruto might be bowing to some foreign forces. This is a possibility, but I wish that's not that's not the good direction. And remember, I once said something, that unlike Uhuru Kenyatta, who was a president and never played the politics, William Ruto knows how to play the politics of optics. He wants to take credit for everything in government. And that is why I can tell you, when you listen to his speech, he doesn't speak about my government is doing there are some things, there are some aspects, he doesn't speak about my government. He speaks about I have done, I have ordered. And this is it. Actually, these members of cabinet that are going to work with William Ruto, none of them will go home with a credit card, with a scorecard. The president will want to take a score for anything positive that government does. Of course, by the virtue of him being the most senior CEO of the country, naturally he takes that credit. But to some extent, There's some decisions that he makes, and of course it's to appease the population. Look at, for example, the Hustler Fund. Of course, the minister in charge is Simon Cheligui. And where would you think the president will come to announce even the date that by 1st we're going to do? So the ministers are working, the departments in government are working, but here's the president who comes out and says everything that other people are doing. So you come to wonder, is it really that the other people that have been trusted with the job are not trusted? Or the president simply wants that if anything good comes from that government, he's going to be the person to be praised. And lastly, I'll draw my conclusion from 2017 when William Ruto was the deputy president. When executive tend to be hands-on, it creates, number one, it breaks some sort of bureaucracy. It breaks bureaucracy, and of course, when bureaucracy is broken down, for me, I don't like bureaucracy, where you need to talk to 10 people before you get 10 shillings, and you wonder how you want to spend 10 bob to get 10 people, and you're going to get 10 shillings. Bureaucracy sometimes is very tedious. But to some extent, you will really demolish some cartels in between when you run the show alone. But number two, it's also positively, individually as a person, you can easily benefit from deals. And this is what now will really create some frictions. When there is, when the deputy president in 2014, there were information that, of course, most of the tenders and corruption deals happened by then, and of course some of them were labeled on his head, others were false, others were true, and of course that's a judgment for the court. But when you're hands-on, you will starve your staff from even some of these deals. And what I see is the president will directly benefit from what really maybe is an underhand deal, because the truth of the matter is the government is not run straight. Government sometimes run as deal, where tufanye hii, toke hii, we utoke kickback and this. And I see that is what most likely will actually happen, because I want to answer a question. I just want to ask, and ladies and gentlemen, that's why I feel that William Ruto seems to have kicked many people around him, and is now running that government alone. Even though we wait for cabinet, when cabinet is formed, we'll see more of collective responsibility. And I don't know whether collective responsibility will have to be squashed, because it seems the CEO is taking every credit. Yes, that's my bold.